Am I the a-hole for telling my stepmom to stop complaining and watch her own kids? I'm currently 17F, and I am exhausted. I'm writing this because my phone has been a war zone for the past 48 hours, and for the first time in my life, I'm being called malicious by people who are supposed to be my family. To understand why I said what I said, you have to understand the wreckage of the last year. My parents were high school sweethearts. They'd been together since middle school. My dad was my hero. He was the guy who taught me how to throw a softball, the guy who checked under my bed for monsters, the guy I thought was the gold standard for men. Then last year, the floor fell out. My mom found out he wasn't just having a fling. He had an entire second family, a whole other life. He had children, ages 7, 4, and 3. While he was sitting at our dinner table telling me how proud he was of my grades, he had another woman and 3 other kids in a house 20 minutes away. The betrayal didn't just break my mom, it destroyed our home. At the time, my mom was a few weeks pregnant. It was supposed to be a surprise baby, a fresh start. But the stress of the discovery, the screaming matches, and the sheer trauma of realizing her husband was a stranger caused her to miscarry. She lost the baby. Enter the mistress, who I'll call Sana, 28F. Sana wasn't a silent participant. She went out of her way to be the villain in my mom's life. She somehow got my mom's number and started sending texts. When she found out about the miscarriage, she told my mom she was glad the baby died because it meant my dad could finally be hers without any more distractions. She would call and brag about her own pregnancies, mocking my mom's grief. She eventually got pregnant again herself, though she lost that baby later on. It was a level of cruelty I didn't think existed in real life. Now, my dad and Sana are married. He couldn't wait to put a ring on the woman who harassed his grieving wife. But the happily ever after is a joke. My dad is already cheating on her. I know it, my brother knows it, and I'm pretty sure the neighbors know it. I don't say anything because it's their mess, and Sana has too much pride to ever admit she ruined a marriage for a man who treats her exactly how he treated his first wife. She gave up her nursing career to be a stay-at-home mom for a man who is never home. I have no relationship with her kids. I've seen them once in my grandmother's house. I don't hate the kids, they didn't ask for this, but they are a physical manifestation of my father's lies. I stay with my mom and my real siblings. My dad constantly tries to force me to come over to bond, but I refuse. I have nothing to say to him, and I have even less to say to her. This brings us to 2 days ago, right in the middle of my winter break. I was sitting in my room, finally relaxing after a long semester, when my phone rang. It was an unknown number, so I picked it up thinking it might be a job callback.
It was Sana.
She was breathing heavily, sounding completely frantic. I haven't spoken to her in months, and the last time we interacted, she was busy telling my mom she was a failure. I don't know why she thought we were cool enough for a phone call. "Where's your father?" she demanded. "No, hello. No, how are you?"
Just that.
I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. "I don't know, Sana. I haven't talked to him in a week. Why are you calling me?" She started rambling. She's currently pregnant with twins, so every breath sounded like a struggle. She has this pathological fear that my dad is back in my mom's house. She's convinced that because he's been gone for 2 days, he must be trying to win my mom back. I told her flat out. My mom is over him. She wouldn't let him pass the driveway. If he's not with you, check the local bars or whoever his new friend is. It's not my problem. Then came the request. "I can't do this by myself anymore," she started sobbing. "The 7-year-old is acting out, the toddlers are a mess, and I'm so exhausted I can barely stand. I need you to come over. Just for a few days. You're on winter break, you have nothing else to do. I need help with the kids. I can't breathe, and your father isn't here." I felt a coldness settle in my chest. This woman, who laughed when my mother lost her child, was now asking me to give up my vacation to raise the children she had with my father while he was cheating on my mom. "No," I said. My voice was very calm. "I'm not coming over there." "Why not?" she snapped, the desperation turning into anger. "You're their sister. They need to know you. I'm struggling, and you're just sitting at your mom's house doing nothing. It's the least you could do for your father." "I'm not their babysitter, Sana," I told her. "If you're struggling, hire a nanny. You have his credit card, don't you? Use it. But I'm not spending my break helping you play house." That's when she lost it. She started screaming into the phone, calling me stuck up and bitter, just like my mother. She said that I was punishing innocent children and that I was a horrible person for leaving a pregnant woman in distress. She was crying so hard, she was choking on her words. I let her finish. When she finally paused to catch her breath, I said, "You're the one who wanted him, Sanaa. You're the one who told my mom you were glad her baby died, so you could have him all to yourself. Well, you have him. This is the man you fought for. A man who isn't home, who doesn't help, and who leaves you alone with 3 kids while you're pregnant with 2 more. You're their mother. Stop complaining and watch them yourself. Don't ever call me again." I hung up. 10 minutes later, my dad called. I didn't answer. Then he texted. Then my grandmother called. Apparently, Sanaa called my dad's entire side of the family, crying about how cruel and menacing I was to her. My dad sent me a long text saying he was disappointed in my lack of empathy and that regardless of the past, a pregnant woman needed help. My grandmother told me that while she understands why I'm mad, I should have been the bigger person because the kids are innocent. But where was the empathy for my mom? Where was the bigger person when Sanaa was sending taunting texts about a miscarriage? I'm 17. I'm a kid myself. I'm not responsible for the consequences of her taking a man she knew was a liar. My mom says she's proud of me for standing my ground, but the rest of the family is making me feel like I'm some kind of monster for refusing to help. They keep saying I went too far with the "watch them yourself" comment. So I have to ask, am I the a-hole? Update/edit. I've been reading the comments on my last post, and some people are saying I should have just ignored the call. You're right. I should have. But when someone calls you breathing like they're about to collapse, your instinct is to pick up. I didn't expect a job application for a nanny position I never applied for. To give you more detail on why the "watch them yourself" comment felt so necessary, Sanaa has spent the last year trying to act like she's the queen of the family now. Whenever there's a holiday, she sends my dad to try and summon us to their house. She wants us to sit at her table, eat her food, and pretend she didn't help dismantle our lives. When we don't show up, she posts on Facebook about unforgiving hearts and how some people just can't handle seeing others happy. The irony is that she isn't happy. My father hasn't changed. He was a cheater when he was with my mom, he was a cheater when he was with her behind my mom's back, and he's a cheater now. I've seen him out. I've seen the way he looks at his phone when he thinks no one is watching. Sanaa knows it too. That's why she was so paranoid that he was with my mom. She knows how he operates because she was the other woman once. She's terrified someone else is playing her role now. When she called me, she wasn't just asking for help with the kids. She was looking for a witness to her misery. She wanted me to see how hard her life is so she could get some kind of twisted pity from the daughter of the woman she hurt. The kids, 7, 4, and 3, are a lot. I get it. Being pregnant with twins is a lot. But she made her bed. She fought for this specific life. She pushed my mother out of the way to get into that house. Now that she's there and realizes the prize is a deadbeat dad and a pile of laundry, she wants me to come save her? My dad's text to me was the icing on the cake. I've worked hard to provide for both my families. The least you could do is show some respect to the woman who makes me happy. She's going through a difficult pregnancy, and you were incredibly disrespectful. Apologize to her, or don't bother coming over for Christmas. My response? I wasn't coming over for Christmas anyway. Enjoy the silence. Now, my dad's sisters are calling me. One aunt told me that I'm too young to be this bitter, and that life is too short to hold on to your mother's pain. But it's not just my mother's pain. It's mine. I'm the one who had to watch my mom cry herself to sleep for 6 months. I'm the one who had to explain to my younger siblings why Dad wasn't coming home for dinner. I'm the one who saw the texts from Sanaa laughing about our family falling apart. Is it bitter to have a memory? Is it stuck up to refuse to serve the woman who insulted my mother's grief? They keep saying the kids are my siblings. To me, they are strangers. I didn't grow up with them. I don't have memories with them. They are the children of the man who lied to me for 17 years and the woman who cheered for his betrayal. I don't wish them harm, but I also don't owe them my labor. I spent yesterday with my mom. We went out for coffee and just talked. She told me that she doesn't want me to be a hateful person, but she also said that no is a complete sentence. She told me that she never expected me to bridge the gap between our family and that family. It's hard though. When you're 17, you want your family to be whole. You want your dad to be the guy you thought he was. But that guy doesn't exist. The guy who exists is the one who lets his pregnant wife scream at his daughter because he's too busy, out somewhere to take care of his own children. I think Sanaa is realizing that my dad didn't leave my mom for her. He left my mom because he wanted a life without responsibility. And now that Sanaa is the responsibility, he's leaving her, too. She's drowning, and she reached out to the person she hated most because she has no one else. She's isolated herself from her nursing friends. Her family is mostly out of the picture because they didn't approve of the affair, and she's left with a man who is never there. I could have been nicer. I know that. I could have said, "I'm sorry you're struggling, but I can't help." But something about her voice, the same voice that told my mom she was glad our baby died, just made me snap. I wanted her to feel the weight of her choices. I wanted her to realize that she is the one who chose to be the mother of 5 children with a man who can't keep his pants zipped. My grandmother called again an hour ago. She said Sanaa's blood pressure is up and she might have to go on bed rest. She begged me to just send a nice text to calm the waters. I haven't sent it. I don't think I will. Am I being too harsh? Is there a point where the past is the past actually applies? Or am I right to keep this wall up forever? My dad's side is acting like I'm the reason the twins might have complications, which is a level of guilt tripping I'm not prepared for. The 7-year-old was born while my parents were still happily married. That means for 7 years, my dad was living a double life. Every birthday, every Christmas, every "I love you" he said to me was a lie. He had another daughter, another house, another life. How am I supposed to bond with a child who represents 7 years of my father looking me in the face and lying? And Sanaa, she knew. She knew he had a wife and a daughter my age. She didn't care. She leaned into it. She wanted to be the one who won. Well, she won. She won the house, she won the man, and she won the 5 kids. If she can't handle the prize, that's not my fault. The comments on Reddit are a mix. Some say, "NTA, she reaped what she sowed." Others say, "Yes, everyone sucks here, because the kids are innocent and she's in a medical crisis." But at what point does my responsibility begin? I didn't create those kids. I didn't tell her to quit her job. I didn't tell my dad to stay out for 2 days. I'm just a teenager trying to get through my senior year of high school without having a mental breakdown. I'm not going to help her. I've decided that. But I'm still struggling with the AITA part of it. Did I cross a line by being so blunt? Should I have been the bigger person for the sake of the unborn twins? Or is the bigger person just a term people use to get you to accept abuse? I'm tired of being the adult in a room full of people in their 30s and 50s who can't figure out their own lives. I'm tired of my father using me as a pawn to make his wife feel better. And I'm really tired of Sanaa acting like she's a victim in a situation she spent years creating. So, one last time, am I the a-hole for telling her to watch her own kids and hang up the phone? Update 2. I just got a text from my brother. He said Dad tried to call him to get him to talk sense into me. My brother told Dad that if he's so worried about his wife, he should go home and take care of her himself. Then my brother blocked him. It feels good to know I'm not alone in this, but the pressure from the rest of the family is still intense. My aunt actually called my mom and told her she raised a cold-hearted girl. My mom told her to lose our number. It's getting messy. Really messy. But I think for the first time, the other side of the family is seeing that we aren't going to be their backup plan anymore. We aren't the safety net for my dad's mistakes. Is it wrong to feel a little bit of satisfaction seeing them struggle? Does that make me a bad person? Or is it just justice finally catching up to them? I'm staying at my mom's. I'm keeping my door locked. And I'm keeping my phone on Do Not Disturb. If they want a nanny, they can find one in the yellow pages. I'm busy being a 17-year-old who actually has a conscience. One thing that really gets to me is when people use the word sister. They say, "You're their big sister, you have a responsibility." I want to break that down. What is a sister? To me, a sister is someone you grow up with.
Someone you share secrets with.
Someone you build a life with. I didn't grow up with these kids. They were a secret kept from me. For 7 years, they were a hidden mistake. Now, suddenly, because it's convenient for Sanaa and my dad, I'm supposed to step into this role? It feels like they're trying to use me to legitimize their relationship. If the first daughter accepts the new family, then the affair wasn't that bad, right? If I'm over there playing with the kids, then my dad can tell himself he's a good father who has united his children. I refuse to give him that peace of mind. I'm not a prop for his redemption arc. I'm a human being who is deeply hurt by his actions. And those kids, as innocent as they are part of that hurt. Asking me to babysit them is asking me to babysit the evidence of my father's betrayal. And Sana, the audacity is what kills me. To call the daughter of the woman you tormented and ask for a favor? That's not desperation. That's entitlement. She thinks that because she's family now, she has a right to my time. She doesn't. She stopped being just a mistress and became a person I actively dislike the moment she mocked my mother's miscarriage.
You don't come back from that.
You don't get to ask for sisterly help after you laughed at a dying baby. I hope the twins are okay. I really do. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But if they are in danger because their mother is stressed, that stress is coming from her husband, not from a 17-year-old girl saying no on the phone. My dad is the one who left her for 2 days. My dad is the one who isn't answering her calls. My dad is the one who created this environment of instability. If they want to point fingers, they should look in the mirror. But of course, it's easier to blame the bitter teenager. It's easier to call me a bitch than to admit that their marriage is a house of cards. I'm staying firm. No apology. No babysitting. No bonding. If that makes me the asshole in their story, then I'll wear the title. At least I'm an asshole who can sleep at night knowing I never tried to destroy someone else's family. Yesterday afternoon, there was a knock at our door. It was my Aunt Linda, my dad's older sister. She's always been the peacemaker, which is really just code for the person who ignores the truth to keep things quiet. My mom let her in, and I could tell immediately this was going to be a lecture. "Honey," she said, sitting across from me at the kitchen table.
We're all very worried about you.
This level of anger, it's not healthy. Sana is in a very delicate state. If something happens to those babies, do you really want that on your conscience? I looked at her. Why would it be on my conscience, Aunt Linda? Did I tell Dad to go out and stay away for 2 days? Did I tell him to stop being a parent? Why is the health of his new kids my responsibility? It's not your responsibility, she said, sighing like I was being difficult on purpose. But it's about kindness. She's alone. She's scared. She just needs a helping hand. She had a helping hand, I replied. It was her nursing career. She gave that up. She had a helping hand in her husband, but he's gone.
She chose this.
She chose to be with a man who does this. Why should I be the one to pay for her bad choices? Aunt Linda looked at my mom, hoping for backup. My mom just took a sip of her tea and said, "She's right, Linda. You all didn't care about kindness when Sana was calling me names while I was losing a baby. Where were you then? Why didn't you have an intervention for Sana?" Aunt Linda didn't have an answer for that. She just muttered something about looking forward, not backward, and left. That's the thing about my dad's family. They want us to look forward because the backward is full of things they're ashamed of. They want us to forget the affair, forget the lies, and forget the cruelty so they can have a complete family again. But my forward doesn't include them. I'm graduating in a few months. I'm going to college. I'm building a life that doesn't involve being a backup parent for my dad's second mistakes. If Sana is alone and scared, she should call my dad. And if he doesn't answer, she should realize that's the man she fought so hard to keep. I'm done with the drama. I've blocked my dad, I've blocked Sana, and I've blocked any aunt or cousin who tries to guilt-trip me. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my winter break. I'm going to help my mom around the house she kept together while her world was ending. I'm going to be a sister to my real siblings. Sana can watch her own kids, or she can find someone else to manipulate. But she's not getting anything else from me. And to my dad, if you're reading this because you're still stalking my life instead of living your own, go home. Your wife is crying, your kids are acting out, and for once, I'm not going to be the one to fix it for you. I'm done. Edit, a lot of people are asking about the kids' ages again. Yes, they are 7, 4, and 3. My dad was with Sana for at least 8 years while he was with my mom. The 7-year-old was born while my mom and dad were actively trying for another baby. It wasn't just a fling. It was a decade of betrayal. That's why this sister thing feels so insulting. He was living a whole other life the entire time I was growing up. So no, I don't feel bad for not wanting to help. I feel like I've finally stopped being a victim of his lies. Thanks for the support, everyone. It's been a long year, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. One last update. Sana did go to the hospital. She's fine. The twins are fine, but she's on bed rest. My dad is finally home because his family shamed him into it. He tried to call my mom to blame her for stressing Sana out, and my mom actually laughed and hung up on him. I think we're finally free. They can have their drama. We have our peace. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Daily Tales Update for more such stories.